Welcome and thank you for joining me today. I want to start by sharing a little secret, okay? I want to ask you that did you know that most people only use about 10%? Because we don't use the 90. We only use about 10% of the knowledge that we have. And that's true. We have tons of information in our heads. We have them in books that we've read. We have lessons we've learned, ideas we've had, but for some reason, we don't always use it. We just sit on it. It's like having a treasure chest full of gold, but never opening it. It sounds a bit silly, right? But don't worry. Even if we say it sounds a bit silly, probably someone like me will say, then I have been a bit silly because I've been doing just that. Today, we're going to open that treasure box, that chest of yours. We're going to open it together. And I want us to look at that, as we go on today. While you read the disclaimer, that I'm here to just share ideas. I'm not your doctor. I'm not your financial advisor. You will need to see professionals when you want to make those kind of decisions. All right. I want us to find it engaging. And as we get this started today, let's look at our main topic. We need to stop wasting 90% of our knowledge base. All right. We need to discover how to bridge our knowing and the doing, bridge the gap so that we can succeed faster. Now, what's the purpose? Here's what we're going to do in this webinar. We're going to look at why we end up not using 90% of what we know, what's stopping us, and more importantly, how can we change that? My goal is to help you bridge what's called the knowing-doing gap, the gap between what we know and what we actually do. By the end of today's talk, you would have some tools and ideas to start using more of your knowledge so you can make better choices, take action faster, and get things done more easily. Doesn't that sound great? I don't know what else could sound greater than that. So let's see what we would be looking at. To make this happen, able to help you, I'm going to introduce you to 5 types of personalities or mindsets that often get in the way. I like to call them the excusers, the complicator, the inferior, the oversimplifier, and the fearful. Now, these are names I coined, all right? These are the habits and attitudes that keep us stuck. But don't worry, there's also a hero here. There's one characteristic that would help us overcome all of these obstacles. I call that characteristic the enhancer. It's a mindset that turns all the information in your brain into real action, all right? So we're going to look at those. We're going to explore each one. And by the end, I will show you how to become an enhancer, someone who uses their knowledge to make progress every single day. Does that sound great? It does. Let's see what we have on the buffet. In case you may not be familiar with me, my name is BB, the coach. I'm your host today, and I'm also a passionate life and positive psychology coach. I'm privileged to handle programs like this on other platforms. I train safety, and I am passionate, deeply passionate about helping individuals like you tap into their inborn creativity to achieve personal growth, excellence, and success in all areas of life. Now that we've gotten that away with, let's get the ball rolling. Okay. The knowing-doing gap. Let's define it. What is the knowing and doing gap? It is called the knowing-doing gap because there's a knowing part and a doing part, and there's a misconnect. There's a disconnect. Now, it's a big phrase, I know, but it's actually a pretty small idea. It's about the difference between what we know and what we actually do. Think about it like this. Maybe you know you should eat vegetables because they are healthy, right? But when it's time for dinner, you might still choose pizza instead. I hope some people identify. It's not because you don't know vegetables are good for you. You do, but for some reason, knowing it isn't enough to make you eat them. A good example, my daughter, she doesn't want to eat some veggies, onions, I think tomatoes. She's going to pick them out. If you mix them in a scrambled egg, she's going to pick them out one by one. Now, do you think she doesn't know it's good? She's smart. She's very brilliant. She knows. Tell her to tell you the categories of food. She knows. But why does she not want to eat it? That's exactly what the knowing and doing gap is all about. It is that gap between what we know and what we do. Now, we're going to look at it from a different aspect today. When we have the information, but we don't take action on it, it's called the knowing and doing gap. We're going to look at it from the angle of what information we have, skills, talents, like you said, and abilities that we possess. Now, why does it matter? Why does it matter? Well, imagine if we only did 10% of the things we know would make our lives better. It means we are missing out on 90%, right? 90% of the good stuff that could make us happier, smarter, or more successful. Maybe you know a way to do better in school or how to play a game really well. But if you don't actually use that knowledge, it's like keeping it locked away in a box. You can't get better at something if you do not practice. Even if you know how to do it, without the practice, there will be a gap. This gap is why we sometimes feel stuck, or like we're not moving forward, even when we have all the right information. It's because of this gap. Okay? Let's have some insight into this. Here's something interesting. Even the most successful people, like athletes, artists, scientists, even entrepreneurs, conglomerate leaders, chairmen of big companies, they have to deal with the knowing and doing gap. They don't always get it right either. The difference is that they have learned how to act on what they know, even if it's scary or hard. If they are not perfect, yes, they know they're not perfect, but they figured out how to take what's in their heads and turn it into action. So if they're not perfect, they don't mind. They just turn what's in their head into action. And today, I'm going to show you how you can do just that as well. It's not about being perfect, like I always tell you. It's about trying, even when it's a little tough, okay? Even when you're scared, you got to let it happen. So get ready. We're going to learn how to close that gap so you can start turning what you know into real life actions. You can start running and getting better results as well. Now, let's quickly dive into it. I don't want to waste time. Today, we're going to move in straight into the nitty gritty of it. Number one is the excuser. And these are the traits that hold us down, that inhibit our ability to take action on the knowledge that we have. Okay? So this is the first character who gets in the way of turning what we know into action. It's called the excuser. Now, what does the excuser do? Well, this is the person or characteristics or mindset who always finds reasons not to do something. The excuser will look for, this is what we need to do. This is what I need to do. This is what I need to do to make the amount of money I want. This is what I need to do to turn my life around. This is what I need to do to get my promotion. This is what I need to do to pass my exam. The excuser will say, wow, okay, so this is what I need to do. And then the mindset takes over and starts looking for ways, all right, finds reasons not to do something. They might say things like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, or it's not my job, or I don't have enough time right now. The excuser loves to come up with excuses, big and small. It's like when you know you should clean your room, but you tell yourself, I'll do it later, or I can't do it because I don't have the right cleaning supplies. But not, maybe not all. Some people are very good at cleaning their rooms. But some of us, when we're younger, oh my, even up to now, we look for excuses. We'll do it tomorrow. We'll hang it somewhere wrong. It's that excuser in us that brings up the reasons why we don't have to do it. It's not about finding reasons to avoid taking action. That's what the excuser does. It just looks for reasons not to take action. All right. Now let me give you a simple example. And I'll be giving this sort of examples. Imagine your teacher gives you a project to do, and you know you need to start working on it early so you have enough time to finish it. But the excuser in your mind might say, well, I'll have more time next weekend. So, oh, I can't start now because I don't have all the information yet. So I want to go to the library. I'm going to check on online, and I'm going to ask my friend Noel to help me out with some stuff. And guess what happens? The project gets put off, and you feel stressed out later because you didn't start when you should. Those excuses make you miss the chance to get ahead. Now, what are the tips, all right, that you can take out from this? The first step is to catch yourself whenever you start making an excuse, okay? Whenever you start an excuse, just catch yourself. When you are making an excuse, just catch yourself. And instead of saying, I will do it tomorrow, try saying, I will do just 5 minutes of it right now. So once you notice your mind is telling you, I'm going to do it tomorrow, say, no, no, no. I'm going to do 5 minutes of it right now. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect, like we said. You just need to start. You just need to get started. So a great to challenge excuses is by asking yourself, what's one small thing I can do right now to move forward in this area of my life, in these things I desire, in those things I dream about? What's one thing, one small step I can do, I can take to move ahead? So like when you don't feel like practicing sport or you don't feel like going to the gym, like I saw Noel's post a few days ago, and someone asked him, Bros, did you go to the gym to record this or you were in the gym? And I say, hey, he's a gym guy. Come on, I know you see him now. But he said something about that on that post. He said, sometimes you don't want to come to the gym because your body is going to ache, you know. But when you tell yourself, okay, I'll just practice for 5 minutes, I'll just do this repeat, just repetition, maybe just once, just to start, and then you start and you're like, let me do more, let me push more, let me lift more, and you're doing more because you started, and before you know it, you are in that zone. So the key is to stop the excuses by taking small steps. Every little action counts, and it helps to build momentum. So let's decide to be doers, all right, not excusers. Now, this is one of the areas where, when I was preparing the slides, I stopped and laughed hard, all right? This is the complicator. Guessing most of us would be culprits of the complicator. Oh my God. I can't stop laughing. What does the complicator do? All right. Hmm. The complicator is someone or that part of us, all right, who makes things way harder than they need to be. They take a simple task and add all kinds of extra steps and details on until it feels almost impossible to get started. When you're in school, you're doing your BSc or an undergrad, and then you're giving a group work, and someone says, okay, what can I find? Okay, so let's say there's a group work that says, make pasta, all right, make pasta. You just need to check online and do a simple recipe, and you do your pasta. So say, no, 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 let's not do ordinary pasta. Let's do it the Mexican way. Then you say, oh, okay, all right. Do you have the Mexican way? You say, yes, but we don't do pasta alone. We should do some Oreos with it. And we should do, and then before you know, you are opening the whole cookbook. All of you are like, you know what? You just do the pasta. That is the kind of thing you might meet when you're talking or you're dealing with that part of you that is the complicator. I call that part of you the complicator. It's like when you want to bake a cake and instead of following simple recipes that you need to learn everything about baking first, then buy special ingredients and even get fancy kitchen tools. You now want to go and get a mixer. You say, oh, this oven is too small. You buy the complicator. End of the day, you will not be able to do it. And that's what happens a lot. Especially when we sit down, we say, oh, I know some things. I'm going to start doing them. Maybe some people say, I want to get online. I want to be involved. I want to help people. I want to teach people. And then say, but I don't have my phone. It's iPhone 15. I need a Canon E780. I said, then I need a camera tripod that is made with carbon steel. Then I think I should get a red. Where are you going with it? Are you shooting an Oscar movie? That's what the complicator does. And then once you start seeing yourself do that, you can get stuck and feel overwhelmed. The more you complicate, the less likely you are going to take action. That's one of the reasons why we don't take action, because we allow that complicated side of us to take action. All right. So I wouldn't let me give you another example on that because it's just funny whenever I look at it. When someone makes a small project become too big and then it becomes a problem. So what is the tip here? So how do we stop being a complicator? How do we stop that part of us? The trick is to simplify. All right. Ask yourself, what's the easiest way to get started? Just go for the easiest way to start. Get the first step. It doesn't have to be perfect, like we say, it just needs to be done. So break it down into small, easy steps and start. For example, instead of planning a perfect project, start by gathering a few facts, then draw a quick sketch of your idea. Little by little, you will make progress without feeling overwhelmed. Remember, it's better to finish something that's simple than never start something that is way, way too complicated. So keep it simple, and you'll find that things are a lot easier to manage for yourself. You begin to see yourself move in the direction of your dream. Now, let me show you something while I was laughing. Now, look at the image on the screen. Look at the two images. The upper image, what does it remind you of? Someone. What does that upper image remind you of? I know some of you that are Nigerians, that say Nigeria is not Nigeria. All right. This happens in other countries too. You people start saying it's Nepal in Nigeria. But have you ever been to a place where, for some reason, both the power lines, telephone lines, internet cables, all of them are put together? Imagine someone coming up here to try and sort this out. That's what the complicator costs. Look at the screen, the green screen at the bottom. Imagine asking someone, just calculate the speed of a train that moves from point A to point B, 25 kilometers in 1 hour. And the person starts doing the Y, the U, the X, find Y first, let us find T, then find A. Even the teacher will get up and leave the classroom. That is what the complicator does. You don't want to be the complicator. We've covered a lot, so I'll just do a quick recap. We talked about the 5 characters that hold us back, who can stop us from using what we know. The excuser, who says, I can't because of this. The complicator, who makes things way too tricky and complicated. So, as we round up today, I want to encourage you. The year is coming to an end. We're going to have 1 or 2 more webinars like this. And there's one big thing that we're planning on for you. There's something I'm cooking up by God's grace. Hopefully, we're going to have our hands on it before the year runs out. I'm working towards that. I and my team are working towards that. Worst case scenario, we might have to do it, not to deliver it to you next year, January, but I want you to get it this year if possible, because you're going to need it for the next 90 days. I want to give this to you to encourage, to help you, and I want us to get good results, real results from it. So stick with us, all right? How do you know what we're doing? Get on our social media handles, like, share, subscribe to our channels, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Snap your screen right now and save that and go visit, and subscribe and tell us hi. Encourage us on those handles. And we would also know what you like. You can tell me, oh, yeah, I like to see this. My team will see that, and we can give you more of that kind of information. If you have questions, you can also throw it there and we're able to address them. And you can also get across to me on my WhatsApp line. Send me a chat. I'll be able to click something together. We had shared this resource before. If you've not gone before, you can snap it quickly. And if you still need me to send it to you, get a message across to me on WhatsApp or to the email, to the mail I just shared. You can get a message across to the mail. Make a mark 2021@gmail.com. Request for them. They are made for you. All right. We give, we give, we give, we give. So thank you so much for spending your time with us today. We appreciate you so much. It's always wonderful to serve you because I know that the more I do this, hopefully the more you'll be able to have your wins and create all that you need to make your life the best of success, no matter how you define that success. My name is PV, the coach. It's been a pleasure to meet you today. Thanks to my team for helping out. And shout out to everyone, despite your day, and how you're going to make time to encourage us. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.